All right, in this briefing, we're going to break down the U.S. strategic calculus on Venezuela. The goal here is to give you, as an investor, a really clear picture of the risks and opportunities that are starting to take shape. So let's just cut right to the chase. What is the end game here? We're talking about one of the largest oil reserves on the entire planet. The real question is who's going to control Venezuela's incredible natural resources? And for us, what does that mean for the global markets?
Look, the U.S. objective is crystal clear. It's regime change. But, and this is the important part, the path they choose to get there is loaded with both significant risks and, of course, potential rewards. That path is going to have huge implications for asset security and any future investment opportunities.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the strategic stakes, what's really on the line. Then, the strategy of escalation that got us here. We'll analyze the three main options on the table, zero in on the most likely scenario, and then wrap up with a market outlook and the key risks you need to watch. Okay, first up, the strategic stakes. Let's really nail down why Venezuela isn't just another country on the map, but a place with tangible economic assets that are critical to U.S. interests. At its core, U.S. strategy is all about securing these assets. And we're not just talking about a little bit of oil, we're talking about the largest proven reserves in the world. On top of that, you've got massive gold and mineral deposits. And of course, there's the need to protect long-standing U.S. business interests, like Chevron, that are already on the ground. So how did we get to this point? Well, U.S. policy didn't just appear overnight. It's been a very deliberate, step-by-step escalation of pressure on the Maduro regime. You can see the strategy has really shifted over time. For years, it was all about political pressure, trying to support the opposition. But that didn't work. So after 2019, the U.S. pivoted to really tough economic sanctions. And now we're in a whole new phase, which includes military posturing and targeting the regime's illicit funding from things like drugs and black market gold. Okay, let's get into the real heart of this analysis, the three main options Washington is looking at to achieve its goal. This is where the risk-reward calculus for investors gets really, really clear. Now, what's so fascinating here is how this table just lays it all out. A negotiated settlement? Unlikely. It just won't get the key corrupt players out of the picture. A full-on military invasion? Way too risky, both politically and for the assets on the ground. Which, as you can see, really only leaves one preferred path forward. And if you need any more proof that a full-scale invasion is off the table, just look at these numbers. A solid 70% of Americans are against military action. There's just no political appetite for it back home, especially when it could jeopardize the very oil and mineral assets the U.S. wants to secure. So, based on everything we've seen, the most probable U.S. move is to support change from the inside. Now, it's definitely the most complex option operationally, but it's also the one that does the best job of preserving that key economic infrastructure. Think of it as a four-step playbook. Step 1, squeeze the illicit money supply. Step 2, use that pressure to create friction and dissent inside the regime. Step 3, find and empower internal forces who are ready to make a move. And Step 4, the one that really matters for investors, make sure the country's economic engine is protected through the transition. And listen, this is not just some abstract theory. This strategy is already playing out. You see these public warnings, like this one for the Venezuelan military, and it's a clear signal. It's an attempt to peel away support for Maduro from the inside out. So finally, let's connect all this geopolitical forecasting directly to the investment outlook. This is the so what moment for your portfolio, and these are the things you should be watching like a hawk. So the bottom line is this. Get ready for some serious volatility in the near term. Existing assets are definitely facing uncertainty. But on the other side of a regime change, you could be looking at massive opportunities in oil and gold. And don't forget, Venezuelan crude is a lot like Russian oil, which could position the country as a major alternative supplier. So what do you watch? Any sign of internal cracks in the Venezuelan government and military. The key takeaway here is pretty simple. Change is coming to Venezuela. For investors, the question really isn't if it's going to happen, but how you position your portfolio for what comes next. Having that strategic foresight is going to be absolutely crucial for navigating the risks and seizing the opportunities ahead.